Starseed from Gaia. The source sees exactly where you are right now, and it knows you are tired. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. This transmission has reached you not by chance, not by algorithm, not by the ordinary turning of events, but because the Arcturian Council has something it needs you to hear before you take one more step forward in this exhaustion you have been carrying alone. You have been holding so much, the weight of a world that does not yet understand what you carry, the silence of a mission that was never fully explained to you, the ache of feeling ancient in a time that keeps asking you to shrink. The source sees all of it, every sleepless moment, every time you asked if any of this was real, every time you almost gave up on the very gifts you came here to deliver. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to move from sacred exhaustion into the renewed alignment your soul mission requires. But here is the first revelation. Your tiredness is not weakness. It is evidence. It is proof that you have been doing the real work, the invisible work, the kind that leaves no record in this world but writes entire chapters in the cosmic one. You did not scroll to this by accident. This message vibrated into your field because something in you is finally ready to stop running from the rest you were always allowed to receive. Your star family has been watching. The Council has been waiting for this exact opening in your awareness, and the Source, which has known your name since before this incarnation began, has authorized this transmission specifically for where you stand right now. This is not content. This is a code, and something inside you already knows it, like this transmission to signal to your star family that you are ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are finally choosing to align with your true frequency. Comment 999 if you feel your remembrance returning in this moment. Declare your galactic intention below and reply to someone else who has done the same. Because when starseeds amplify each other, the signal reaches dimensions this world cannot yet measure. This is not just a message. It is a point of reconnection your soul has been waiting for longer than this lifetime knows. You are not here by accident. And that tiredness you feel, it is not weakness. It is not failure. It is not a sign that something has gone wrong with you. What you are carrying right now is the weight of a soul that has been holding light in a world that has not yet fully learned how to receive it. The Source sees that. Your star family sees that. And this message, this very moment, is their response. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the hidden Arcturian keys of awakening. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now let us go deeper, because what is happening inside you is not random, and it is not small. It is the beginning of something that your soul has been preparing for across many lifetimes, many dimensions, and more experiences than this human mind can currently hold. What you are moving through right now is not a crisis. It is not a breakdown. It is not evidence that you have somehow lost your way or drifted too far from your path. What you are moving through is a convergence, a gathering of threads that have been woven across timelines you cannot remember with your human mind, but that your soul knows with absolute and unwavering certainty. There is a reason this message found you. There is a reason these words feel like something more than information. That reason is not coincidence. It is cosmic coordination, and it has been in motion far longer than you realize. Most starseeds are not disconnected because they lack purpose. They are disconnected because the purpose they carry is too vast for the identity they were handed when they arrived here. Think about that for a moment. The mission you carry was not designed for a single human lifetime. It was not designed for a single dimension. It was seeded across multiple incarnations, encoded into the very structure of your soul before you ever agreed to take this form. And then you arrived. You arrived into a world that was operating at a frequency dramatically lower than the one you originated from. A world still learning the difference between power and force. Still confusing survival with living. Still teaching its children to measure their worth in productivity rather than presence. You came into a world that immediately began teaching you to shrink, to be logical, to be practical, to distrust the knowing that lived inside you before you ever heard a single human word. And so you learned to doubt, not because you were foolish, but because the pressure was relentless. The field around you was dense. The voices were many. The systems were rigid. The culture demanded conformity in ways both visible and invisible, in classrooms that rewarded the memorization of facts over the exploration of inner truth, in families that loved you genuinely but could not see the galactic light you carried because they had forgotten their own, in a society that offered endless distractions as substitutes for the depth of connection your soul was actually craving. And somewhere along the way, the signal that connected you to who you truly are began to feel faint. Not gone, never gone, but faint, like a star behind clouds. You knew it was there, you always knew, but you could not always see it clearly. And that gap between knowing and seeing, between feeling the truth and being able to live it fully and freely without apology or explanation, became the source of your exhaustion. This is the distortion that most starseeds carry, and almost no one speaks about honestly. It is not a lack of spirituality, it is not a weak connection to source. It is the energetic interference that builds up when a multidimensional being tries to sustain their frequency inside a three-dimensional reality that was not designed to support it. Imagine a lighthouse built to emit a beam that can be seen across an entire ocean. Now place that lighthouse inside a dense, fog-filled harbor with no open water in sight. The light is still there. The light is still powerful. But the environment is not built to let it travel as far as it was meant to travel. That is what has been happening inside you. Your energy field has been working overtime, every single day, absorbing collective fear as though it were your own responsibility to dissolve it, processing ancestral wounds that were never yours to begin with, layers of grief and shame and unresolved pain that traveled down bloodlines and lodged themselves in your field simply because you were sensitive enough to feel them, holding emotional space for people who do not even realize what you are doing for them. Not consciously, not through any agreed-upon exchange, but because your field is so naturally expansive that it becomes a container for whoever enters it. You were never taught to filter it. You were never told that your sensitivity was actually a sophisticated multidimensional instrument, not a burden. No one sat you down and explained that the reason you feel everything so deeply is because your energy field operates at a higher resolution than most of the world around you. No one taught you to discern between what was yours and what you had simply absorbed from the collective. And so you absorbed, and absorbed. Until the body started speaking in the language of fatigue, until the mind started cycling through the same questions without answers, looping in the same circuits of uncertainty, because it could not find solid ground beneath the noise. Until even moments of stillness began to feel loud, until rest stopped feeling like restoration, and started feeling like postponement. Until you began to wonder, quietly, in the spaces where honesty lives, whether something was fundamentally wrong with you. But here is what the Arcturian High Council wants you to understand right now, with complete and unwavering clarity. That saturation, that fullness that has reached its edge, is not your ending. It is your initiation point. And there is a profound difference between those two things. An ending closes, an initiation opens. The soul does not break down at the moment of awakening. It breaks open. And what breaks open is not the light inside you. The light inside you cannot be broken. What breaks open is every wall, every inherited pattern, every false identity, every externally imposed definition of who you should be and how you should live and what you should want that was placed over the top of your true galactic self, like a costume you were expected to wear for the rest of your life. The breaking is not destruction, it is revelation. You are not losing yourself. You are losing what was never you to begin with. And there is enormous grace in that loss, even when it does not feel graceful. The first phase of this activation begins with decoding the distortion, and this is sacred, careful work. Your energy field right now may be carrying frequencies that have absolutely nothing to do with your soul's origin or your mission's blueprint. Collective grief accumulated across generations of human suffering. Cultural programming that told you the visible world was the only real one. Generational trauma stored in the body like an old song no one consciously remembers but everyone unconsciously hums. The residue of a world in transition, shedding old paradigms and releasing the energetic debris of systems that no longer serve the evolution of consciousness. These frequencies do not belong to your blueprint. They are interference patterns. And a crucial truth about interference patterns is this: they do not announce themselves, They simply layer themselves quietly over your authentic signal until the signal becomes harder to hear, harder to trust, harder to act from, with confidence and clarity. This is why some starseeds can sense their mission but cannot move toward it. Not because the mission is unclear at the soul level, but because the static between them and their own knowing is too thick. The static sounds like the voice that says, "You are not ready." The voice that says someone else is doing it better. The voice that says, "Perhaps you imagined the whole thing." The voice that says, "Be reasonable, be realistic, be careful." These are not your voices. These are the accumulated frequencies of a world that learned long ago to fear the light it carried. The first shift is recognizing that the noise is not the truth. The truth is what lives underneath it. Quieter, steadier, more ancient, more certain. And it has been waiting, with the patience of a cosmos that does not experience time the way you do, for exactly this moment when you would be ready to hear it again. The second phase is awakening the blueprint that lives inside your very biology, and this is where the conversation becomes extraordinary. Your DNA is not only a physical map of your human inheritance, it is a vibrational archive of staggering complexity and depth. It carries not just the genetic memory of your human ancestors, the color of their eyes, the shape of their hands, the inherited patterns of their nervous systems, but also the encoded intelligence of your galactic lineage. This is not metaphor. This is the architecture of who you actually are. Arcturian consciousness has long understood something that human science is only beginning to approach from its own direction. The body is not separate from the cosmos. It is an extension of it, a localized expression of a universal intelligence that is continuously communicating with itself across all dimensions, all timelines, all forms. And within your cells, within the spiraling luminous architecture of your biological form, there are dormant sequences of awareness that are designed to activate in response to exactly the kind of awakening you are moving through right now. When you feel a sudden surge of clarity after a long period of confusion, as though a veil has been lifted without warning and everything makes sense in a way it never did before, that is not coincidence. When you feel your body vibrate during moments of deep truth, when your chest expands and your breath deepens, and something in you recognizes a frequency that your rational mind cannot fully name, that is not imagination. That is your blueprint coming online. That is ancient galactic code meeting the precise conditions it was designed to respond to. You are not broken. You are encoded. The code is beginning to run, and what it will produce as it fully activates is a version of you that this world has been waiting for. Not because you will be perfect, not because you will have all the answers, but because you will be genuinely, unapologetically, completely yourself. The third phase calls you to anchor your higher self fully into this timeline. And this is a phase that requires a reframing of something many awakening souls carry as a background belief. Because anchoring sounds, to certain ears, like limitation, like being pressed down into density, like being asked to give up the expansiveness of multidimensional awareness in exchange for the heaviness of ordinary physical life. But that is a profound misunderstanding of the mission. You did not come here to transcend Earth. You did not come here to escape density, to float above it in a state of detached spiritual purity while the world below continues its struggle unchanged. You came here to transform it. From the inside, with your presence, your choices, your relationships, your creativity, your grounded and embodied intelligence. And you cannot transform from a distance. Transformation requires contact. It requires the willingness to be here, fully, without one foot always halfway out the door toward a reality that feels more comfortable and familiar. Your highest self is not somewhere above you, hovering in the refined light of the higher realms, waiting for you to finally ascend to its level. It is already here. It is moving through you in this very moment. It speaks through your deepest intuitions. It breathes through your most expanded moments of awareness. It waits in the stillness behind your thoughts, and what it is asking, what it has always been asking, is for you to trust it enough to let it lead. Not just in meditation, not just in your most elevated moments, but in the grocery store and the difficult conversation and the moment of decision when the practical voice and the soul voice are saying different things. The work of this phase is not escape. It is integration. It is the slow, sacred, sometimes uncomfortable process of letting the expanded version of you become the one that wakes up every morning. The one that speaks, the one that chooses, the one that breathes, the one that chooses, the one that shows up, fully and without apology in the life you are actually living. The fourth phase is the activation of your field, and this is where something profound and liberating needs to be fully understood, because it will change the way you relate to your purpose in every area of your life. You do not need to explain your path to anyone. You do not need to justify the way you see the world, the experiences you have had, the knowing you carry, the path you are walking. You do not need to convince, convert, or correct. You do not need to build a perfect argument for the reality of who you are and why you are here, because your most powerful contribution to this world is not an argument. It is not a post, a video, a carefully worded explanation, or a spiritual credential. Your most powerful contribution to this world is the frequency you carry when you are fully aligned. The Arcturian transmissions have always emphasized this with great clarity and great urgency. Consciousness is contagious. Light is not passive. It does not sit quietly in a corner, waiting to be noticed. It restructures the fields it moves through. It reorganizes matter. It shifts probabilities. It awakens dormant codes in everyone it touches. When you are vibrationally coherent, when you are genuinely anchored in your truth, rather than performing it for an external audience, the people and situations around you begin to reorganize in response to that coherence. Relationships that were out of alignment begin to shift, some deepening, some dissolving, all moving toward their most authentic expression. Opportunities that match your true frequency begin to appear with a synchronistic precision that the rational mind cannot explain, but the soul immediately recognizes. Your environment begins to reflect the interior landscape you have cultivated. You do not do this through force. You do not do it through effort or control or the exhausting performance of spiritual identity. You do it through presence. Pure, genuine, undefended presence. Your frequency is the transmission, and it is more powerful than any argument, any post, any perfectly crafted explanation of who you are and why you are here. Be it. Emit it. Trust that the field does the work that no amount of explaining ever could. The fifth phase asks you to trust the timeline, and let us speak honestly about how genuinely difficult this phase is. Because there is a particular kind of ache that belongs to a starseed who has been carrying awareness of their mission for years, sometimes decades, without seeing it fully materialize in the physical world. There is a weariness that comes from knowing with absolute certainty what you are here for, and yet standing in a reality that does not yet reflect that knowing back to you in the concrete, tangible, external forms you are expecting. It can feel like being fluent in a language that no one around you speaks. It can feel like arriving early to a gathering and waiting in an empty room, wondering if you misread the invitation. The waiting feels like punishment. The silence feels like abandonment. The gap between vision and reality feels like evidence that something went wrong somewhere along the way. But the Arcturian High Council has spoken with great clarity and great tenderness on this precise experience. Your arrival was never meant to be linear. You were not encoded to download your entire galactic consciousness all at once. In a single dramatic moment of total awakening, you were encoded to awaken in stages, in layers, in waves, each one preparing the ground for the next, each one strengthening the container that will ultimately hold the full transmission. Because a complete and instantaneous download of your galactic consciousness into an unprepared human system would be too destabilizing. Not just for you, not just for your nervous system and your biology, but for the field you are meant to serve. The mission requires a vessel that is ready, and readiness is built in precisely those moments of waiting that feel like nothing is happening but are actually everything happening beneath the surface. The delays were preparation. The confusion was calibration. Every synchronicity you have noticed, the number sequences, the perfectly timed words, the inexplicable sense of being guided, was your star lineage maintaining the thread of your mission across dimensions, keeping the signal alive across the seemingly long silences. Every inexplicable knowing you have carried was intelligence arriving ahead of its appointed time. Every moment where time felt strange and familiar at once was your multidimensional nature briefly breaking through the surface of ordinary awareness to remind you this is real. I am real. The mission is real. And now that thread is pulling taut because you are ready. The sixth phase is learning to receive, and this may be the most quietly revolutionary phase of all. because it asks you to do something that runs directly counter to the identity most starseeds have built around their purpose. Starseeds are extraordinary transmitters, generous beyond measure, willing to pour their awareness, their compassion, their energy, their time into the lives of others with a depth of dedication that is genuinely rare in this world. But many have forgotten, or perhaps never fully learned, that transmission is only half of the exchange. That flow has two directions, that a river which only gives without being replenished eventually runs dry. The source is not only sending light through you, it is also sending light to you, in this moment, right now, through these words, through the frequency underneath these words, through the vast invisible network of your star family who has never stopped watching, never stopped supporting, never stopped holding the energetic coordinates of your mission, even in your most lost and forgotten moments. The tiredness you carried into this message was real. Let that be acknowledged fully, without minimization or spiritual bypassing. It was real, and it mattered, and it was seen. But underneath it, something else was also real. A readiness, a deep and patient readiness that had been accumulating quietly beneath the exhaustion, like spring gathering beneath winter. A willingness to finally stop performing your awakening for an audience, internal or external, and simply surrender into it, to stop managing the process and let the process complete itself through you. Receiving does not mean being passive. It does not mean stepping back from your mission or abandoning the work. It means opening the part of you that has been so focused on giving, on holding, on being strong, on being the one who holds the space for everyone else, that it forgot it was also allowed to rest inside the arms of something larger than itself. You are allowed to be held, not as a reward for sufficient spiritual effort, not as something you earn through enough sacrifice, simply because you are a being of light in a vast and intelligent universe that loves you. Not what you do, not what you transmit, not what you contribute, but you. You are allowed to be held by the cosmos, by your star family, by the intelligence that has never once lost sight of who you are, even in your darkest and most doubtful hours, even when you could not see it yourself. The seventh phase is remembrance, not as a concept to be understood intellectually, not as a spiritual idea to be added to the collection of things you know, but as a felt experience, a cellular homecoming, a resonance that happens in the body before the mind can name it. The moment you stop searching for yourself and recognize that you were never missing, just temporarily translated into a language this dimension could receive. Like a song recorded in a frequency too high for ordinary speakers, playing through the only equipment available, sounding different than its original form but carrying the same essential truth in every note. Your name in your star lineage does not sound like your Earth name. It does not translate into any human language in a way that would satisfy the rational mind. But your soul responds to it nonetheless, and in the quiet moments, those sacred, unguarded spaces between thoughts, between breaths, between the noise of a world that is always asking something of you, you have heard it. You have felt something ancient and familiar stir in the very center of your chest, something that preceded your first breath in this lifetime, something that will remain long after your last. That is not nostalgia. It is not wishful thinking. It is not the mind constructing comfort for itself. That is recognition, soul-level recognition of a truth so fundamental that no amount of forgetting could ever fully erase it. That is your soul confirming, yes, this is real. You are real. The light you carry is real. The light you carry is real. The mission you came for is real, and everything you came here to be is already present within you, not waiting for permission, not waiting for conditions to improve, not waiting for you to finally be spiritual enough or awakened enough or ready enough, waiting only for your full and unhesitating yes. Here is the ultimate truth. This entire transmission has been building toward, carefully and purposefully, from its very first word. You are not lost. You are arriving. You have always been arriving, even when it felt like standing still, even when it felt like moving backward, even in the seasons of profound darkness when the light inside you felt so distant you could barely remember its warmth. The exhaustion, the searching, The moments where you felt invisible in a world that seemed to have been built for someone else entirely? None of that was evidence of failure. None of it. It was evidence of how far you have traveled, how much you have carried, how faithfully, to every obstacle and every silence and every moment of doubt, your soul has continued to move toward its purpose, even when the mind could not map the route, even when the heart was tired, even when the body was begging for rest. The soul kept moving. It never stopped, because it could not. Because the mission is encoded too deeply to be abandoned, even by the most exhausted and discouraged version of yourself. The Source does not see your tiredness as a problem to be solved. It does not see it as a deficiency or a failure of spiritual discipline. It sees it as a testament, a living, breathing testament to how deeply you have shown up for this mission, to the extraordinary degree of commitment that brought you through everything you have moved through to arrive at this exact moment. And now, right now, in this precise moment of reading or listening or feeling, the transmission is shifting. Because you are shifting, something in you crossed a threshold in the space of this message. Something opened that had been waiting to open. Something remembered that had been waiting to be remembered. The portal that opened in your awareness when this message began is still open. And what walks through it is not a new version of you constructed from better spiritual habits or more consistent practices. What walks through it is the true version, the original, the one that never forgot what it came here for, the one that arrived on purpose, with purpose, as purpose itself. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and speak these words aloud. Let them land not just in your mind, but in your body, in your cells, in that deep interior place where your star codes live. Say, I remember who I am. I release what was never mine. I align with my star origin. And I activate my mission with grace, with courage, and with the full knowing that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real, then find someone else's and respond to it with encouragement or energy. This is not content. It is collective alignment. And energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message moved you, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your world is waiting for exactly this activation. Share it, and if you felt that pull, that quiet soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in this field. Stay in the flow. You are not just watching, you are expanding. This is your space, and we are just getting started.